Good morning, good morning. Ooh, let me turn off that little chat box and welcome to our Pokemon Shiny Collection. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start this off with, wow, there is a bar of light right across my face. That's because the window for the office, the sun is coming up on that side of the building, and I guess the blinds have that little bit of sunlight creeping through the blinds, and it's just right there at that level of my face. So for those of you that are bothered by this weird, like, brightness that's like, right there on the camera, pardon me. That's just kind of how the lighting is going today. Anyways, about our shiny collection, I know we did not have an update video last week, so we're actually going to be covering weeks 13 and 14 today for today's shiny collection update. And we've got good news and we've got bad news. The good news is week 13, we did manage to get the Tapu Bulu before it left the Pokemon Go raids. We also managed to complete the Grimmsnarl and the Blipbug families in totality, thanks to this little handy dandy hatching contraption that I have. Right now, I have it running Torchics again because I still need 2 shiny female Torchics. So with this setup, I can go ahead and leave this running while I'm getting ready to go to bed because I just got home from work. I work 12-hour shifts overnight, and I've been picking up a lot of overtime shifts. So I'm getting ready to do that. Also in week 13, the Darkrai that we had, I believe it was one that that my wife had gotten. That one got moved into Pokemon Home, so that's been marked. She also ended up finding a Wailmer, and I had gotten a Kingler and a Cyndaquil in Pokemon Go. So a lot happened that week on just a couple of random shinies that we had happened to come across and getting some things moved in. Now, there was also the Tapu Fini raids, which were lasting up until last week's Tuesday. And despite gunning for it hard, I did not get Tapu Fini. That means that I am going to have to try and do Tapu Fini the hard way. Now, I do have Pokemon Sword and Shield between both my own Switch and my wife's Switch, so I am able to go in, and as long as I can get that path for Tapu Fini in those raids, I can go ahead and have both Switches running, have them working together on it, and just have it side by side. Unfortunately, I am just going to have to hunt it that way instead of doing it the easier way, because I know Pokemon Go's raids are something like I think they're like a 1 in 20 chance that a raid boss is going to be shiny, especially the legendaries. That's why I was trying so hard to get it from raids. Now, this past week was Reshiram, and this is where we're getting into week 14 stuff. I did get the Reshiram, and starting Wednesday this week, Zekrom is going to be in raids, which I am going to be hunting for that Zekrom as well. In addition to that, though, week 14 has a few other small gains, but excellent gains. Now, the general standard for how I've been doing this shiny collection is that these are Pokemon that I have obtained myself or that my wife has obtained to avoid any possibility of hacked Pokemon. Now, not to say I don't trust the people that would maybe offer me something for the collection, but to be absolutely certain, I just want to make sure that I know the legitimacy of the Pokemon in the collection. And another little caveat of that is that Pokemon Go is basically secured from hacked Pokemon. So a Pokemon sourced from Go, we know is not going to be hacked. Because of that, I had managed to get, because of the recent start of remote trading, I had gotten a shiny Regigigas, a shiny Landorus, and my wife had gotten a shiny Oricorio to go ahead and help fill those slots in the collection. Now, those things, because they are in Pokemon Go, I have to wait for the transporter energy to build up before we can send them into home, but we at least have those marked off, so I now have one of Landorus's 2 forms ready for the collection. I got Regigigas, and the Oricorio, it is the electric form Oricorio, which we already have in the collection, I'm pretty sure. But all I have to do is put that Oricorio into any other game that it's available in this case, Scarlet and Violet, and give it the nectar to change its form. Boom, that'll be our last Oricorio. So those are a whole bunch of things we got. Oh, and I also got, so I had roly-poly, but I had also managed to get 2 more shiny roly-polies. I just need to actually move them into the game to evolve them, but because I am just getting home from work and getting everything situated, I haven't had the time to sit down and get all that stuff moved and put into their proper slots. Like the Necrozma, we also got Necrozma moved from my wife's Pokemon Go account onto home. I just have to actually get it moved over into my home account to slot into the collection. Same with the Roly-Colies. I got to move them and evolve them. But I do have those 2 shiny Roly-Colies that are set for evolution. All I have to do is move them into a game. Boom, they're done. That's basically where we're at now. Wednesday, the Zekrom raid starts. I'm going to be doing some remote raids, maybe even hunting for some raids to try and do personally on that one. I'm also keeping my eye out for events. I'm not really paying too close attention to the city-specific Pokemon Go Fests, but I know in the middle of July, there is the Global Go Fest for all of Saturday and all of Sunday, and there is a metric fuck ton of legendaries that are going to be in raids either in 3-hour blocks, that 3-hour blocks that rotate on Saturday, or for the totality of Sunday, where it's just a hodgepodge of a whole separate group of legendaries that were not available on Saturday. So I basically have to go down the list for next month and mark down each and every one that I need to hunt for and gun for and hunt for those raids. Me and my wife are pretty much planning to hopefully have time that weekend to go and hit up those raids and try and get the ones we're looking for. But that's where we're at. The Pokemon Home Collection is now above 700. We have 702 Pokemon marked and registered in Pokemon Home for this Ultimate Shiny Collection. One that, has 1,025 Pokemon total, but when you account for all the alternate forms, it's even more than that. So that's 702 unique shiny forms that we've got, and a total, once we add up the other ones that still need to evolve, still need to move from home, that my wife still has on her account, it is a total of 791. So the Pokemon that are in Pokemon Home, we've only gained 6 since our last update. However, we have gained a total of 15 for the entire collection that just need to wait on moving, and some of that 15 is actually like it's not even that big of an issue for me to get them moved. I could pull up the 2 switches with games right now, put them onto games that can trade, move them in, evolve what needs to evolve, and that would probably bring it down to that would probably slot like another 3 or 4 into their correct slots that way. But yes, we are at 791 total collected, 702 that are in Pokemon Home now, which honestly could have been 705. Altogether, though, I am pleased with the pace that we're going at here. I know I could probably get it a little faster if I didn't have the burdens of a day job. Well, not day job, but a night job, a regular job to pay the bills where I'm... Now, the overtime shifts that I've been picking up, it's not a mandatory thing, but the extra money is nice, and the job is not overly taxing. It just takes away from the time I could be spending shiny hunting these things, and there are other recording projects that we also have on this YouTube channel. I know I need to catch up with my Reciteer recording for that series. We also got an announcement for Fields of Mystria to be getting its full release, and I know that's one I want to start a new save file on. I'm probably going to do like a once a week long video for like an in-game week at a time while I try and start from the beginning and complete it and basically be a total like horn dog and just date everybody in the entire town kind of thing. Just because I want to do something a little silly with it. We also still have daily episodes for Stardew Valley for that one. I think a bunch of my Pokemon battle videos are the ones that I had backlogged for uploading. Those may be running out soon with the Pokemon Legends and I know I don't have Champions battles lined up. But we also have Champions on mobile coming up soon. So for people that are looking forward to things, I mean, I probably won't be able to record the mobile ones, but it will let me kind of mess with teams a little more so that maybe I can do some more recording on the Switch with that kind of thing. Overall, though, there is a lot of stuff going on. The Shiny Collection, I'm still trying to keep a little bit of a priority on it, using Sword and Shield to hatch Pokemon that can be hatched in there, paying very close attention to what is in Pokemon Go's raids, and constantly trying to juggle all of that with the real life responsibilities. So, for everybody else out there, I do hope that your shiny hunts are at least as successful as mine. Hopefully, maybe I can find some time at some point to get back on those Vivillon hunts because I still have a good handful of them that I need to get a hold of. That was the wrong tab. There's that one, the Vivillon. It's what? One, two, three, four. Four Vivillon forms that I do not have yet, and three that my wife has. So a total of 7 forms that are not in Pokemon Home, but only 4 more that I need to actually hunt for. Those, along with the Oricorio that we just got, is another Pokemon with that one. I believe I also need to hunt Furfros, and I think the easiest way to do Furfros would probably be in Pokemon Legends. ZA, because there's the one area that Furfro spawns pretty reliably. So I got to go for that one. I also need to get Deerlings and Sawsbucks in mass and then get them to turn into their proper forms. And I know I need 2 each of Tornadus, Thundurus, and 1 more Landorus to get in there. So there's a lot of things that we need to run for. Also, a bunch of Flabébés. Maybe I can do some Flabébés and Floettes, because those ones, the different flower colors, I believe if you breed one of those in the daycare, I believe they only hatch that flower color. Oh, wow. Really? I don't have any of the blue flower ones. Okay, I'm going to keep my eyes out for those. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm pretty sure I also need to go for Furfros. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Furfros haircuts, which that's going to be a lot of time in ZA trying to do that. I also need to eventually go for Unknown Hunt. So that's the one I'm kind of dreading. And I think the best way to hunt those is probably going to be in Legends Arceus trying to push for those outbreaks, but those ones are going to be a little difficult because you can't control what letters show up if you even get a shiny. So there's a lot of things that are going to be difficult hunts that I need to be able to try and find some time for to juggle into that. I know I've mentioned in the previous updates that I also need to plan on doing Gimmighoul hunts, but honestly, there's so many different things. I feel like I need to just kind of narrow down and pick one thing at a time to focus on, because there are other things like there's still the Deoxys that I need to do resets for in the Leaf Green that I have on my Switch, which I don't think we even have home access for that yet. So even if I get that one, I still have to wait for that access to come in before I can actually transfer it when I do get it. And then there's also Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that I need to replay, at least up to the point of Poipole and Type Null, because I need 2 of each of those. One for the basic, one for the unevolved Pokemon Shiny, one for the evolved Pokemon Shiny, and that one's going to take, God, I don't know how many resets, and I'm also dreading those resets because they're not the fastest paced resets. So we had some good progress today. I still have some very difficult hunts ahead while we're going. But for those of you who have been keeping up with us, thank you so much for your attention on this matter and for the support. And I hope that you all have a beautiful week. Hopefully I won't miss next week's update video and that I'll have something decently monumental to announce for that one.